Heels Podcast. One handsome devil. Your host, Jack Purcell. Scissor me, daddy ass. Louis Perry, your co-host. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell. Faces and Heels Podcast.
Welcome to the Faces and Heels Podcast. Tonight we've got a special start time for a special event. We have the Guy Show colliding with the Faces and Heels Podcast. This is Louis Perry. I'm Jack Purcell, and tonight we have the guy, Jack Dalton.
You know, I'm going to let that slide. That wasn't too bad. I mean, we got royalty backstage, back in the studio, and I'm impressed. I've been having a crappy day the past couple of days. I'm not even going to argue with you. I'm just going to bring Jack on. I'm going to bring the guy on because that was one hell of an intro. It's probably because you and I hung out last weekend, and I'm just going to bring Jack on. Look at that. I mean, you gave the man respect as it was, and I'm impressed, Jack. I am thoroughly impressed. I said Jack. I was talking to that Jack. Not you.
Yeah, I'm impressed too.
This Jack right here.
I was talking to that Jack right there. I'm impressed.
Thank you for having me on, gentlemen. I know that the show is Faces and Heels, but tonight, special occasion, it is the Guy Show because I am here and I'm blessing you with my presence.
I agree. That is class. 100% class right there. And yes, I totally agree. And the crowd.
I like your shirt. It reminds me of me.
I wore it for you. The glasses, everything. This is for you.
Thank you. I like to wear my
for you.
Well done, Louis. Well done. Hey, Eric Hunting is right out of the gate here saying, not a guy, not some guy, it's the guy.
Eric knows well.
Eric is one of our most knowledgeable listeners, week in and week out.
We'll see how Eric does on tonight's trivia.
Oh, hey now. Chris Hebert says, what's up, guys? And the guy. I added that for you, Chris.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, we want to make sure we treat you properly here. So thank you so much for being on tonight. We've been really looking forward to having you on for a long time. Chris Hebert says thank you. So for many of the fans, this is a treat because they know you. Some of them were at the CH2 collectible show, and they had an unexpected surprise when you laid the smackdown.
Hey, somebody had to bring it. There were so many people in Mark Alexander's line. I needed to let them know exactly why they should be in my line and why they should have been waiting for me, not Mark Alexander. So I had to do what I had to do. They called for security. He's actually the one that got taken out, and I got to stay there the rest of the day and sign stuff because I get special treatment because I'm a special talent.
Well, you know what? Let's bring this up right now. I was there. I was, as the Angry Geeks, I was sitting there. I was broadcasting. I was sitting in the back, but there was one person, because I told you to teach him a lesson. I was sitting there screaming. They confiscated my tape of that. They said, because security came out there, okay, I was screaming, saying, Jack, give him what he deserved. We all seen that. Security, it was at a hotel. The hotel security came in, took the videotape, and I was like, give him what he deserved. He deserved it, Jack. You can all hear it. But there was an instigator there. It wasn't me. Who was number one in line to get that scumbag's autograph. Mr. Dalton, do you remember that? I certainly do.
If my memory serves me right, I would say it is one Jack Purcell, but
Exactly.
I
Exactly. What the hell kind of nerve is that?
Look, man,
I'm
I
just
provided the distraction.
I'm gonna
No.
exactly. It was a plot, and he knew from the start that he needed to distract Mark Alexander because I mean, it doesn't matter anyway. He wouldn't have seen me coming. I'm like I'm a real quiet and silent killer, and
You're like a ninja. I said, plain and simple.
thank
I
you.
didn't even have time to get the camera rolling. They would have took that footage too. SOBs.
Well, luckily, the footage did turn up on Blood, Sweat, and Tears, so it got out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everyone's and honestly, there's two sides to every story, and I honestly think all I did was retaliate. I didn't start this with Mark Alexander. He started it because he had a match with me. He was in the ring with me, and that was just a bad decision from the start. He should have avoided me completely, and he got what was coming to him. He started this whole thing.
Plain and simple. We're getting some comments in here now. I gotta be nice to this guy. He does pay my bills on the Angry Geeks. And Jack, what does Chris Ebert have to say?
Chris Ebert says, "What? Bring it! Attacking a guy unprovoked? Come on, Jack."
Yeah, Jack Purcell. I mean, it was your fault.
Yeah.
And this comment is like,
Chris Ebert says Lewis was way out of line too. Wow,
I,
Lewis.
We were
I was.
we were completely actually not even in line. The only one in line was Jack, but it was because he was helping me out.
That's right. The Jacks stick together. Come on, what are we talking about?
Great first name.
Yes.
How long have you been in the ring for, my friend?
Me?
Yeah.
So I started. It's kind of a little bit of a story. I started training in 2019. I was training for about 6 months locally. Then COVID happened. I took some time off, and then December of last year, I moved down to Florida, trained at Flatbacks with Sean Spears and Tyler Breeze, and was down there for a few months. Came back up, and I had my first match in May of 2022, and I've been doing it since.
Okay, we're getting some more comments about this incident here. Jack Purcell.
It
You
was
want to
Jack
read
Pur-
these?
Yeah, it was Jack Purcell on the grassy knoll. Look at the footage, people. And Eric Hunting's back saying this is a feud that spans multiple states and promotions. I think Holyoke, Massachusetts has even hosted one of these matches, if I'm not mistaken. Chris Ebert says actually we'll show the owner of White Rabbit and White Rabbit Comics in line too. Okay.
You see, we get whatever I do and wherever I go, it gets the people talking. So no matter what it is I do, whether I just show up and sign an autograph or I show up and beat someone within an inch of their life because that's what they deserve, or I just show up for a match and I lay somebody out and I get my hand raised, I get the people talking because everybody's talking about Jack Dalton in 2023, and they were last year too, because everywhere I go, everywhere I show up, it's absolutely positively, unequivocally, without a shadow of a doubt, the Guy Show.
Oh, there you go. Let's just leave these humanoids out for a second. Continue your story on how you got started.
So, trained down at Flatbacks, moved back up here. I had my first match actually in Holyoke with one Zachariah Gibbs. He's a local Connecticut guy. I actually teamed up with him before, and like I said, I can't really share the spotlight. I'm not a big fan of doing that. So I had my first match with him, teamed up with him later on, and I beat him too, because he got what was coming to him. Because anybody who steps in the ring with me knows exactly what it's going to be. It's not going to wrestling match. It's not going to be all this crazy stuff. It is going to be a fight. A one-sided fight, that is, because I'm going to come out on top, and you're not going to know who you are and where you are when I'm done with you.
Sounds accurate.
Yes, it does, and it 100% accurate. Question that I like to save toward the end. Now, Jack, I'm sorry, Mr. Purcell, I am kind of taking this over because this is a tremendous talent. This is going to be my last question, and I'm going to give you the floor. What was it like the first time you walked out of Gorilla and you saw a person in the crowd, whether it be negative, positive, friend or foe, holding up a sign with your name or likeness on it?
So, to be honest, when I walk out, I don't really pay attention to all those disgusting people in the crowd, because at the end of the day, I'm above them. And when I walk out, I have these shades on, I have my jacket on, I'm in the zone. I know exactly where I'm going and what I'm going to do, and that's to beat somebody up. It doesn't matter who it is walking through the curtain. So I'm not really paying attention to all these people. But there is one instance that I saw this, if you could call him a fan. He definitely wasn't a fan of me. He had a sign that said Jack Dalton sucks, which is a very inaccurate statement. So what I had to do was I had to rip his sign up, throw it in his face, and then beat his boy Zachariah Gibbs right in front of him.
It sounds like he got what he had coming, much like Lewis likes to yell when you're beating people up.
Everybody,
pretty much.
If you have a problem with the guy, just say it, and we'll settle the problem. And the problem will lie with you afterwards, because you're going to have to pay a lot of medical bills. And that's all there is to it, to be honest.
That's fair.
Chris.
Sorry. Chris Heber is back saying, or show up and attack someone blindsided. That's a good reputation to have. Hey, I've seen
He's
you
a
not
humanoid.
I've seen Jack not blindside people in the ring. I don't know what Chris is referring to.
Hey, everyone who steps eye to eye with the guy it ends the same way for them. The only time they're beating me is if the ref counts too fast, or they got extremely lucky, or an act of God happened. That's the only time I'm not getting my hand raised. And I didn't blindside Mark. I came up to him. I said, "Hello, Mark." I tapped him on the shoulder. He turned around and he got punched in the mouth, because that's exactly what he deserves, just like Lewis said.
Mm-hmm. I seen the whole thing. I was there. I was a witness. I was ready to testify to security on your behalf. That is why you got to stay and he had to leave.
I believe
they just confiscated my footage. That's all.
You are both two fine gentlemen with unbiased opinions. And if you are on my side and you see exactly what happened, the footage is there. At the end of the day, Mark had what he got, what was coming to him. So I don't care what the opinion is, because the only opinion that is the guys. And
read this comment right now of Kevin from BST.
Yeah, we were just talking about BST earlier. Kevin says Lewis only calls it down the middle.
Exactly.
Kevin says, "Good man."
That's correct.
Thank you for saying it the right way, Kevin. Thank you.
Yep. And Eric Hunting comes in and says that he's been a fan of the guy since day one, myself included. Jack, the floor is yours. I'm done at the minute, and the humanoids, except for Kevin, all the humanoids can just wait.
Thank you.
You're channeling Bobby the Brain tonight with your mind.
I know, I am. Oh, and Godspeed to Jerry the King Lawler tonight.
What?
Yes, Jerry the King Lawler had a stroke and was found face down in his driveway, and he is awake, but can't talk and has no feeling. So prayers and Godspeed.
Jerry the King Lawler. That's someone I actually tweeted out, I think it was about a week ago. He's someone that I want to wrestle. I tweeted out, I want to wrestle Jerry the King Lawler. So, prayers and thoughts to him, and I hope he gets the help he needs and gets better quickly.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. We were just laughing at the Royal Rumble with some of his humor at the pre-show. Remember, Lewis? Jeez,
yes, I do.
Wow, look at Lewis breaking news here. I did not know that. Oof. But anyway, back to the subject at hand. So Jack, I remember I've seen you wrestle in a few different companies, but I also had a chance to get to speak with you after a show at Blood, Sweat, and Tears. And it's really funny because Lewis and I go to shows and we try to take things in, and we're looking for people that we could have on as guests. And when I saw you wrestle, it was a really great match, and we were engaged the whole time. But getting to see you after, it was really funny that sometimes, in my experiences as a fan, when I get to see someone like one-on-one, you really get that sense of what a lot of people refer to as the X factor. And it was really interesting that you truly did really stand out in that room as like a star. And it felt like people kind of gravitated towards you. People were looking at you. Obviously, a lot of people know who you are there. but I feel like that's a quality you can't teach. Was that something that became abundantly clear when you were training at Flatbacks?
So I would say, I mean, they definitely didn't give anybody like preferential treatment or special treatment. But it's something that honestly, it's by design, and I think it is something that you can't teach. I'll take all the praise in the world, but it is definitely something that I put a lot of thought into. I down to everything, down to my gear, what I come out with my entrance, the music, everything. I believe presentation is everything, and perception is reality. And the reality is, regardless of anyone's perception, I am a star. And I walk, talk, and act like a star. I think there's three things that you need in this business to make it, and that's the look, the ability to talk, and obviously the ability to work and to wrestle in that ring, and to captivate the people, no matter whether they're booing or cheering. And it's definitely something that I feel that I have, and I'm not afraid to talk about it. And at the end of the day, if someone feels some type of way because of the way that I carry myself, that insecurity, that lies with them. Because with me, I don't see any of that. I have these shades on for a reason. I have tunnel vision. The only person I see and the only goals I see, the only star that I see is me.
It's the only way to be. I mean, I think it's a fantastic philosophy because especially as a freelancer in the world of pro wrestling, if you're not looking out for you and you're not investing in you, nobody is. And it's clear that you do. Like even like the facial hair, like we've had Jeremy Leary on from Blitzkrieg, and his gimmick used to be the best hair in pro wrestling. But you might have taken that over. You might have the best hair in pro wrestling. Not only the hair in your head, but like your facial hair. It's like it's very deliberately sculpted, and I feel like that is super
Look at that.
important.
Look at that right there. Look at that. That is star right there. It says it all. That star.
I appreciate the kind words. And when it comes to I take pride in it, whether it's in my daily life or in the ring. Before I know I have a show, I'm getting a haircut. I'm trimming my beard, and I'm making it look as presentable as possible. It is by design. I'm not a big fan of without the beard, but it's something once I could grow one, it was something I was like, I like this look. And I think the biggest thing with especially being on the independents is you need to stand out. And a lot of people do stand out for their in-ring work. And I believe that I will get to that point where people are talking about the matches that I'm having. But I think a very important quality, which is something that I did learn at Flatbacks, the way I was taught was a lot more for TV wrestling, and captivating people and having that look. So just when I walk out the curtain, if I can make people turn their head and rubberneck looking at me, just when I haven't done anything besides walk out the curtain, and I believe I have that quality, whether that's the way I look with my gear or my hair or my beard, all of that I take into account. So I appreciate the kind words, but it is definitely all by design.
Yeah, right. Because it doesn't happen by accident. So when you say that, like, it's kind of undeniable because it didn't just happen. It's not like you're consistently just randomly showing up and here we are. It takes planning. It takes work. You got to be deliberate. Even like your gear, like the jacket, the sunglasses, like the whole look is really cool. And I'm looking forward to seeing you back at some of the other companies, not only in Holyoke, but with Blitzkrieg Pro. And from there, who knows? I mean, sky's the limit. But I'd love to see you selfishly at Pro Wrestling Grind, where I think you could really tear it up.
Well, I do want to make an announcement. We do work very closely with Blood, Sweat, and Tears Wrestling, and I'm going to drop an exclusive right now. Saving it for Angry Geeks, but I'm going to drop it right now, right here on Faces and Heels podcast, where the guy, Jack Dalton, will be facing his next opponent at Blood, Sweat, and Tears Wrestling. Are you guys ready? Because this is an exclusive. I may get in trouble for this, but you know what? I don't care because the guy is here. Check it out. BST Elevate. I'm going to be there. Angry Geek, the rest of the Angry Geeks crew is going to be there. Jack, you're going to be there April 8th, right? You're going to be there with
100%.
us too.
100%.
Faces and Heels podcast is going to be there. Alternate Universe LLC is going to be there. Jack, you're going to make him eat more pizza than ever, Mr. Buffett, Mr. Buffet. Am I right or wrong?
Oh yeah, I have a lot to say on this subject. This is a new era for BST. I believe in 2022, BST really broke out and really put on some fantastic shows. I think a big part of that was because the guy debuted in BST, and from day one, I looked, walked, talked, and act like a star. You can listen to the commentary, talk about it. But as it regards to April 8th, like I said, is a new era. It's BST Elevate. And yours truly will be going one-on-one with someone that since the first time I saw them, I have wanted to be in the ring with. My favorite style of wrestling is when there's two big dudes in there and it's a fight. And that is exactly what it's going to be on April 8th when myself and Bobby Buffet of the Monster Factory go one-on-one. And Bobby, I know you like to eat, but Daddy likes to eat too. And if you think that you are going to take dinner off my plate, you have no idea what is in store for you. And I know we both have the same goal. We both are looking at that BST Heavyweight Championship that Lucas Chase is holding for me. So, Bobby, I will see you April 8th. And may the best man win, but I promise I will out-eat you, I will outwork you, and I will out everything you because I am the guy, and this is the Guy Show.
You just mentioned Lucas Chase. Do you have any words for the champ?
I do.
Because the champ does watch. That's all I got to say. He does watch. He is a fan of both Angry Geeks and Faces and Heels. He watches both shows on the network. Do you have any choice words for the champ?
I do. And so Lucas is someone who I feel has a similar path to me. Trained locally and then took it upon himself to take the next step, go down to the Rhodes Wrestling Academy and get trained by one of the best in the world, one of the best to ever do it, with one of the best and most historic lineages and royalties in a royal family in professional wrestling. And he took it and he made something of it. He took whatever he was doing before, he reinvented himself. He came back up here, and he's been on fire since. He's been winning championships everywhere. I have nothing but respect and admiration for Lucas Chase. But he's someone that I need to be in the ring with, not just because he has that title, because that is something I need. It's not something I want. It's something I need, like it is to breathe air. I need that BST championship because honestly, I consider BST my home. The promotion that gave me a break when I first started out, they gave me a platform, and I will not forget that. And I want to repay them by taking their belt and rising it to new heights that it's never been at before. And Lucas is doing a great job at that right now. But if I have words for Lucas, it is that the day that the Cure and the Guy step in the ring at the same time, if you think there's ever been a clash before, it is going to be a clash like no other. It is going to be an all-out fight. And I look forward to that day. I don't know when it's going to be, but I know that Bobby Buffet, I'm not taking him lightly, but he is a stepping stone to get to that championship. Everyone that I face in BST is I am not looking past them, but I'm looking through them, because at the end of the day, I need that world championship. I need that heavyweight championship because I'm a heavyweight wrestler, and Lucas Chase is holding it. So I don't care by the time I get to that match if it's him or if it's anybody else. When I wrestle for that belt, that strap, that title, it's coming home with the Guy.
Fair enough.
I want to be front row for that show.
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely. For sure. Jack, the floor is yours.
Tickets.
Well, yeah. You answered my next question. I was going to ask you if BST was your home, and you've already stated that. So I don't know how you think about it. I mean, we're looking at, taking the title at BST in 2023, which I've predicted is going to be the year of the guy. So that I've said, and it's been on our social media, and I would stand by that. And it's just beginning. And so we're really looking forward to seeing where it goes. But do you have any specific goals, like companies you want to work for, or specific guys who you want to take down?
So I'm always setting goals, and it's something that in my personal life and professionally, especially with wrestling, and I believe it's a very important part of elevating your game. But there's tons of goals. I want to wrestle every weekend. That is my number one goal, is to wrestle every single weekend, to be someone who is booked every single weekend. And there's some companies that I need to work for, that I've been wanting to work for. One being a company that I have, as a kid, I always went to their shows, and it's Northeast Wrestling. They run out of Connecticut, Massachusetts. They do New York. That's a company that that's like probably number one on my list to get there and show what I can do there. The Beyonds of the world, or the Wrestling Opens, like you said, Pro Wrestling Grind, Blitzkrieg. I did wrestle for them once, and I would love to do it again. There's tons. Limitless. I put out a graphic yesterday, and it says that I'm willing to travel, and I will go anywhere. I have a passport. I will go anywhere in the U.S. or outside of it. I'm going to be in Los Angeles for WrestleMania weekend, and I'm going to be showing up at some shows, and hopefully I get to wrestle out there and elevate my game and meet some other talent that is looking to do the same. But yeah, those are some of my goals for 2023. And the guy wants gold in 2023. I want to be a champion. I want to represent a company. I want to be the face of a company. I don't care which one it is, but I can promise you, if you have the faith in me to put me in a match against your champion, I can promise you I will sell tickets. I can promise you that every single time I step in the ring, it is going to be a fight. It is going to be something that is noteworthy. And the guy needs gold in 2023. I said it at a promo I put out on at midnight on New Year's Eve, and that was by design. Is 2023 is going to be all about me, and yeah, that's really it.
Well, not only are you the guy, but you're a mind reader, because that was my next question. I wanted to know what you could tell us about WrestleMania week, because there's a lot of wrestlers right now who are already hyping it up, already talking about going out for April to LA. There's a 2-night event, lots of companies running shows. Is there any company in California in particular that you have your eye on, or are you just looking to kind of tear it up anywhere you can?
Honestly, anywhere. I'm trying to get that scene. I do have some friends out there, but I'm trying to really any booking that I can get in that weekend. I feel like it is a very good platform to get eyes on yourself, and to rub elbows with maybe some of the bigger names in this game. Because at the end of the day, one of my goals is to be the biggest name in this game. And I know that sounds crazy, but it sounded crazy when I told people I was going to be a professional wrestler. It sounded crazy when I told people I was going to move to Florida to train. It sounds crazy when I told people I was going to spend thousands of dollars and invest in myself to do so. It sounds crazy when I spend crazy amounts of money on gear and all of this. And I think you have to be a little bit crazy to do anything worth anything. And I would say I'm a little bit crazy. You've seen me in the ring. If you piss me off, I get a little crazy.
Yeah, and I mean, you have to be obsessed on some level, no matter what art form it is. I mean, the art form that you're involved in, 100%. If you're not, I don't know how you tolerate all the travel, all the expense, all the pain, the injuries. There's so much that, I mean, you can call it crazy, you can call it obsessed, but I think if you're not, I don't understand why you're in it.
100%. It's a sickness, but it's a good sickness, and I have it. I have the pro wrestling disease in me, and I'm not fighting it. I'm letting it take control, because I want to be one of, if not the biggest star in this business, because at this level, as short of a time I've been doing it, I know I say I don't like to toot my own horn, but gentlemen, that I do. And I believe I believe I have all the makings of someone who can really take this far, because a lot of people, they want to be a weekend warrior, or they want to uh, just do it because they love it, right? At the end of the day, I do love it. I love it more than anything. And it's not, it's a love that it needs to pay off. I have a goal, and my ultimate goal, obviously, is to be on TV wrestling, wherever that is. That is my ultimate goal in this business, because I believe that I can take I can really take whatever platform that I have and bring it to the next level.
All right. What can you tell us about these 3 T-shirts right here? I got 3 of them right up here. And what is your favorite design out of the 3?
So the one, I've actually designed all 3 of these T-shirts myself,
Okay.
but I would say so the one all the way to the right, that was my first T-shirt I released.
Okay.
It's obviously, it's got my face on it, so you should buy it, because people are gonna stop you like, who is that absolute stud, handsome, amazing looking fellow on your shirt? And it really catches your eye. The one in the middle, if you really want to feel like the guy, that is the same exact logo that I wear to the ring, on the back of my jacket, on the back of my gear. And it's got my favorite color in it, color I'm wearing right now, pink. I take a lot of inspiration with that color from one of my favorites, Bret the Hitman Hart. And the one to the all the way to the left was supposed to just be a one-off for a gear that I had. It was almost like a Hollywood Hulk Hogan inspired gear, so it's like a knockoff of the NWO logo. But at the end of the day, it says "The Guy Show," because that is not just a catchphrase; it is true. It rings to be true. When I call myself the guy, there's been plenty of people that, if you listen to any podcast or you listen to any show that involves pro wrestling, he's the guy here, he's the guy there, he's the guy everywhere. It doesn't matter, because when I show up on that night, in that moment, I'm the guy now. And I believe it to be true with 100% fiber of my being, that when I am on a show, I'm on a promotion, I am the guy. And whether you believe it or not, I'll make you believe it. Just step into the ring and I'll show you exactly why I'm the guy, and why every single time that I'm there, it is the guy show. And yes, I know I'm talking about T-shirts and I'm cutting a promo about T-shirts. I don't care, because I'm the guy.
And these T-shirts are available on ProWrestlingTees.com. And not that we're sponsored by them in any means, but giving Jack Dalton, the guy, a solid by saying this. If you can't go to that website, just contact Jack Dalton, and I'm sure he can get you
We'll
one.
hook you.
Yeah, he'll
Nice.
definitely hook you up. We're getting some more comments.
Kevin says it's a solid face.
Thank you.
All right. And
Eric says, I have the T-shirt all the way to the right. Good call,
there you
Eric. I think
good
I've actually
call.
seen Eric wearing that in Holyoke.
Yeah.
And Chris Hebert says, TGS, the guy is shady. Whoa, Chris Hebert's getting
Whoa.
creative.
The
Yes.
guy in shades. I'm not shady. Shady. What are you, an Eminem fan? What is this, 1999? It's 2020, brother. Get with the program. Get on the guy train, or hop off somewhere onto the road. All right.
Smooth Lens Photography says, real men wear pink.
They do.
Clearly.
The best guys, me.
All right.
Yeah, we
Dream-
can't argue.
No,
So-
we can't.
So, I mean, as a fan, I'm selfishly really happy you picked the art form of pro wrestling as your chosen form of torture, because it is one of those things that, for me, you're one of those standout guys, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all over the place. And I also believe, like, with this kind of attitude, how can you fail?
In my mind, failure is not an option, and I tell people that, and they think I'm insane. Like, you have to have a backup plan. You have to have you can't put all your eggs in one basket. But if you're not putting 100% effort into the one thing that you want to do, you're going to put maybe 99 in, and that 1% was what was going to get you to the dance. And failure doesn't exist in my mind. I don't talk in ifs. I talk about when it happens.
Nice. So Chris Hebert says Bobby Buffet, train baby.
Uh-oh, that means it's trivia time. This week's
Ruh-roh.
Old School Trivia brought to you by Alternate Universe LLC, Milford and New Haven, Connecticut. This Alternate Universe is also a partner with Blood, Sweat, and Tears Wrestling, or affectionately known as BST. So make sure you stop by and see Eric and the gang, especially tomorrow for New Comic Book Day, and tell them that you heard about them during Faces and Heels Old School Trivia. Jack, are you ready?
I'm ready to go 0-790.
And Mr. Dalton, you can please play along as well. And all of our listeners and viewers, please follow too. Where did Damien Demento hail from, and with whom did he confer with? Once again, where did Damien Demento... No Googling! Anyone! Where did Damien Demento hail from, and with whom did he confer with?
So, Lewis, let me just say this up front.
Yeah.
I bet Jack has a better idea than I do, but you have a way of remembering all the things I repress. I don't want to remember Damien Demento. He wasn't my guy. I don't know. I don't know where
He
he's
was
from.
hilarious.
I don't know anything about him.
You don't... Oh, come on.
And, I mean, I know he wore black and stuff, but
I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about.
Do any of our listeners, I'm sure Eric has some idea. Eric
knows.
Yeah, and does Eric know? Eric, please show me in your comments. I know you give me a run for the money almost every week.
He knows everything.
Do you... What's that?
Eric knows everything.
And here's a comment. You are so close, Eric, but I'm going to give it to our judges, and let's see. Are you ready for the answers? The outer reaches of your mind, and he conferred with the voice. So what do you guys think? The Jacks, the guy and Jack, do we give Eric a no prize for the outer reaches, or do we say no, it was the outer reaches of your mind? Do we give it to him or no?
Give him the world, because he's a great guy.
All right, Jack. Eric, you do get another no prize this week, and that's 2 weeks in a row that you got the trivia right, but you did not get the voice right. So, sorry. You only got half a point. Sorry about that. And try again next week.
You're a hard ass, Lewis.
I know. I try.
Jeez.
I try.
So Jack, you mentioned that you prefer singles wrestling, which I think is awesome. And again, one of those questions that I had.
Well, because why should he share the spotlight with anyone, Jack?
Right.
It's bad enough I got to be on the spotlight with you every week, and I got to be on the spotlight with Jamie and Emily every week, right?
Yeah, you need some eye candy.
Not even about.
Yeah, I do. I don't care about spending the spotlight with them, but every week I got to share the spotlight with you, even though this is your show. But why should the guy share the spotlight in the ring with anybody?
It's not even about sharing the spotlight, because honestly, I'm a nice guy, and I don't want to take away from whoever I am in the ring with, whether that's, if I'm teaming with somebody, they're not going to pay attention to them. They're going to be looking at me. So obviously the right thing to do would to be just, stay in the singles competition so that the focus is on me, because obviously it's not going to be on my opponent. If I had a team member, I would just be taking away from them and, let them go be in mediocrity somewhere else. They don't need to be in mediocrity while sharing the ring with me.
And I think that the spotlight should go on top of me. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well said, Mach.
Yes.
So
Yes, by all
here's
means.
here's a question. Sorry, I like that you're in all singles matches, but would you have any opposition to taking part in special stipulation matches, like if death matches come up, if steel cage matches come up, barbed wire matches, lumberjack matches? Any of those bother you, or are you just game for anything?
Honestly, I'm really game for anything. When it comes down to it, I just have to hear what the opportunity is, and then I'll decide. But I'm not going to shut anything down, I'm not going to close myself off to any opportunities. Um, Honestly, it doesn't matter what kind of match it is, because like I already said, if you're in the ring with me, it only ends one way, and that's with you looking up at the lights, and you have no idea who you are. You're probably, went to the bathroom on yourself, and you aren't going to go to work the next day. You're probably going to have a hefty medical bill, but it's fine because you chose to get into the ring with me. So it doesn't matter what kind of match it is, just make sure the person getting in the ring with me, they sign a waiver beforehand, because it's not going to end well for them.
Yeah, it's clear, and it's good that you give them fair warning. You're an honest guy. You're not threatening them. You're just telling them what's going to happen so they can make a logical choice.
I've never told a lie in my entire life, not once.
Nice. Well, so here's a question, because it's clear you've already talked about Bret the Hitman Hart being a huge inspiration, but wrestling probably consumes a lot of your life. I mean, obviously it does, not probably, but do you have the time between, you know, designing, booking, wrestling, training? Do you actually watch a lot of pro wrestling every week?
I do. To be honest, I do. I make time for it. If I don't see it live, I at least try to catch up on it on if I record it or on YouTube or clips online. I think it's really important in our industry to keep your finger on the pulse of everything and not shut yourself off to any other. If it's not your thing, I think you need to be enlightened to every single type of wrestling, no matter whether it's your thing or not. If it's you can't just crap all over one type of wrestling, because you never know the opportunities that you'd be closing yourself off to. But I watch everything. I watch every company. I love right now. I think WWE right now is hot. I think it is hotter than it has been in a very long time, and I think a lot of that contributes to a guy like Cody Rhodes, guys like Seth Rollins, and then I've watched AEW since day one, and I really like what they're doing over there as well. Even Impact, a lot of people aren't I don't think they have a great platform right now to show what they can do. But if you can go out of your way and watch what they're doing, there's some great wrestling on that show, and there's a lot of people that I feel in a few years or even sooner than that, they're going to be names that everyone knows, and you might even see them in bigger companies, or become a top person in Impact as well. I think that company gives a lot of people a good platform and a good opportunity. But I watch everything, to be honest. I try to watch as much on the indies as possible as well, and keep up with it, which Twitter helps a lot with that, and IWTV. But yeah, I watch everything. If I don't watch it live, I try to catch up on it.
Yeah, IWTV is the gift that keeps on giving too, because I don't know about you, but I can't even get close to getting through everything I want to see, because then something new comes up.
Yeah, there's so much. Even Fight and that they redid the ROH library now too. I have that as well. There's so much on there, and I think an integral part of evolving is watching everything, but watching stuff that you haven't watched in forever. I watch a lot of older wrestling, and a lot of stuff it's not even that old, but like a lot of the stuff from the Ruthless Aggression era, especially like in-ring stuff from SmackDown during that time was fantastic, and a lot of it I can see is people are doing now that maybe it didn't get the credit for then. But I watch a lot of the older stuff too. When people ask me what I do in the ring, I say not that much. I mean, not that I can't, but I feel like I have a very simple style, and it's very it's more of a fight, and that's what I like to bring off and show with myself is that it's not just a very technical wrestling match, but it's more of a fight. And I like, when I watch stuff, I watch a lot of guys like big fan of JBL, especially in the early 2000s. A lot of the big inspiration for me is like John Moxley as well. I like a lot of the stuff he does in the ring. But yeah, I watch everything. Sorry, I went off on a tangent. I talk a lot. I don't know if you guys know.
No, that's good.
No,
We
no,
like
it's yeah, definitely. It makes our job a lot easier. You're saying that you watch it, and here's another question, serious question for you, Jack. Do you just watch it for pleasure, or do you actually sit there and study them and say, okay, this, and do you study the tapes?
So I think it's a mix of both, because wrestling is my escape. It always has been. That's like always been my thing. I was the kid that watched wrestling, but ever since I got into this business, ever since I started training, I can't. It's completely different. So when I watch it, I'm like, oh, I could use that. Oh, I can do that. And when I'm watching it, even if I'm not trying to study and I'm just trying to sit back and enjoy what's on, it's hard because I'm always like picking things out that I'm analyzing it and I'm watching it through a different lens. And
Mm-hmm.
it almost like, not that it getting into the business ruined it for me, but it's like when you're a magician and you know all the secrets, and you're watching other magicians do it. That's the only way I can like describe it. Is I feel like as someone who is in the business, you have to be studying it and you have to be constantly watching it. And I'm always studying. And I don't mind studying it because it's something I love.
Okay. Who do you feel delivered the best promos of all time, and who do you model your promos after?
So I would say promos are my favorite part of wrestling. Like, as much as like the in-ring stuff, and I love being out there, I love talking. I love telling a story with my words. And I've always been good with words. In school, my favorite thing was like English class. I loved writing papers. I loved being creative and talking. So it just translates into wrestling. But I would say guys like Roddy Piper.
Oh yeah.
One that people might not even think of is like Mr. Kennedy, Ken Anderson. I think
yeah.
he's a phenomenal promo, and he oozed charisma, which is something I feel like maybe I take a little bit from him as well. There's I don't. Those are two guys that I really do watch a lot. I mentioned it before, John Moxley. I feel like my approach to a promo, I feel like he has the same one. Is there's so many guys that cut wrestling promos. They're using these keywords and these key wrestling terms, and it doesn't sound authentic. It doesn't sound like they believe what they're saying. When I put out a promo or just a video of me talking, there's a lot of thought that goes into it, and a lot of them are off the top of my head, but I'm just saying how I'm feeling and how the situation I'm put in makes me feel. And I want it to come off as authentic, because believe me, when I put something out, I believe every single word I'm saying. Whether you agree with it or not, I know that what I'm putting out it doesn't sound fraud. It doesn't sound fugazi. It doesn't sound fake. It doesn't sound like something that, I watch a lot of people put out promos, and it doesn't sound like they mean what they're saying. I want all of them to mean something. And another guy is The Rock. I love his promos and the way that he oozed charisma as well. I would say him, Roddy Piper, and Ken Anderson, maybe one that not a lot of people think of. He's someone that I would watch as well.
Okay.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I loved his promos back when he was working. One of the things when you mentioned Impact, it made me think about some of the performers there that I really like. Like, I could see you having a really amazing match with a guy like Speedball Mike Bailey, who's got a very different style, different approach. But also, it made me think of Jordan Grace, who I know both Lewis and I are fans of. Does the guy have any opposition to battling the gal?
I have no opposition to that at all. She's an amazing talent, and she is someone that no matter man, woman, doesn't matter. She could probably kick 99% of the people walking God's green's earth's butt, and is super believable in the ring and somebody that can really go. And she's really leveled up in the past. I feel like year and a half to like someone who's like you look at her, and she's like, oh, that's a star. But no opposition at all.
Nice, because I've never seen you wrestle an intergender match before. Is that something you've done?
It is not. No, I have not. I have not been presented with the opportunity yet. And I know there are, especially on the independents, that is something that is done a lot, as well as like I believe Beyond and Wrestling Open. There's a few there as well. But yeah, it's not something I'm opposed to.
Nice. So that opens up a lot of other potential dream matches.
Oh yeah, for sure.
At the end of the day, no matter what your take is on this business, we're here to entertain, and we're here to put on a show and make people feel something. So if however the way you feel, that I believe that can still do that.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Here's like, I don't want to get too carried away with this because I could kind of go all day with this. I've thought about a lot of dream matches, but here's just if you bear with me for a couple, I just wanted to see what you thought about it. I'd love to see you against the big boofa Desmond Cole, and I don't believe you guys have ever met in the ring.
We have not, no.
Because that match would be amazing. I don't care if it's at Blood, Sweat, and Tears, Pro Wrestling, Grind, Limitless, Wrestling Open, any of these places we're going to be seeing you at, I'm sure, in 2023 and beyond. No pun intended there. But how do you feel? Would he be a guy who you feel like you could take that kind of match to another level?
For sure. I think that would be my type of style of match, a hard-hitting fight. That's the type of matches and even if it's, I feel like I can bring that out of anybody, even if that's not someone's style. I take it down to even like my promos is I try to make things personal. I like to build realism around what we're doing, and I feel like that match is one I would love to have.
Nice. Okay. Well, that would be amazing. I'll just do one more because I could go all day. But we mentioned Pro Wrestling Grind. You versus Rip Bison would be really impressive because you're a really big dude. And I could imagine the two of you in the ring would tear the house down. And that's a strong ass ring. If you haven't been to a Pro Wrestling Grind show, that ring, and again, from just a fan perspective, I bet they all hurt. That one looks like it hurts more than all the other ones.
Oh yeah.
I've watched, he's someone that like, when I first started studying like the independents, he's someone that like drew my attention. Even just, I feel like because of the style that he wrestles as well. And I have a thing for like wrestlers that are very similar to me, where I see like they go out there and they have a presence and they fight. And I love that. And he's someone that I would love to step into the ring with. And I've seen a lot of his stuff and he's one of the first, when I really put my finger on the pulse of independent wrestling, he's someone that stood out to me right away, especially like in the Northeast.
Yeah, right. I mean, when you were in Florida, did you consider staying in Florida, or to you, is the Northeast like kind of like this golden territory? I guess we could call it that, because I feel like the Northeast is like the place, and I might be biased, but it just seems like, man, this place just has such an amazing abundance of talent and incredible promotions. And I don't know what you felt about the Florida scene when you were there.
So it's definitely like, it was a tough decision. I did not go down there thinking I was going to stay down there for forever, but being down there, I'm not a big fan of the cold weather, and being down there made me really consider things. But when it comes to why I'm doing this and how I'm doing it, the Northeast, they call it the Beast Coast for a reason, and it is a modern day territory. You see all the top stars on TV. 90% of them are from the Northeast,
Well,
and
I was just, I didn't mean to cut you off,
no, fun.
Jack. I was just going to say that. I mean, even back, I'm old school, okay? And I'm going to date myself. Back in the 70s, when the territory wars were actually going on, everyone wanted to come up north. I remember, going to high schools and to going to Grange Halls with my dad, and I was seeing everybody because everyone was coming up north. I grew up, you know, way down southern Connecticut. I seen everybody. Norwalk High School. I seen everybody there, and especially when the WWE was the WWWF. We had everybody there. Plus, we had interpromotional wrestling. I saw Flair versus Backlund, for crying out loud. Title for title, and it was just everybody wanted to come up north because here in New England was the place to be. So I can definitely see what you're saying here. Everyone wanted to come up north. Is it because the McMahons were here? Because this is where it was just the top of the game. Most of the schools are up here. Don't know. But up here in New England is just the place for pro wrestling. This is the birthplace of pro wrestling. This is the place for pro wrestling. The heart of pro wrestling, I should say.
I feel like it's like a blessing, and to be from the Northeast and to have the scene that we do. Because being down in Florida, there's not a lot of independents, and if there are, there's not too many that draw at the crowds that the Northeast does. But being down there, I definitely I knew that I wanted to come back up here because I knew the talent that was around here and the opportunities, and the eyes that could be on me being on the Northeast scene. So it was definitely a plan to come back up here. And believe me, I would have loved to stay in the heat, but I still take it with me because I bill myself from Orlando, Florida, because I feel like that's where I was made. That's where I really, not that I didn't have an appreciation before, but really where I dug my teeth into this, and I was like, this is my life. This is what I'm doing. And when I was training with some of the best in the world, there'd be tons of guest trainers that would come through too. Orlando is like that central place for a lot of the bigger stars in our industry. I really appreciate the opportunity that I had there, and I wanted to bring that with me. So when I get announced to the ring, it's from Orlando, Florida, because that's where I feel like the guy was made. That's where I was made, and now I'm taking my talents up to New York, up to the Northeast territory, and I'm very blessed that I can be in the Northeast and wrestle up here because there's so much opportunity and there's so many promotions. I feel like every other week there's a new promotion popping up, and not just like any rinky-dink promotion, but like there's reputable places to go and wrestle, and especially in the Northeast there's so many, and it's very, very encouraging. And I encourage anyone who really wants to take this seriously, if you're down south or you're somewhere else, to move yourself up to the Northeast if you can, because there's so much great talent up here and so many good promotions to showcase your skills.
All right. Jack, we're going to let you go. We're at an hour. We have our TV time, our podcast time. It was a pleasure to have you on. Please tell our audience, our viewers on Pod TV, on the Angry Geeks Network, tell everyone where they can find you.
So
online.
you can find me on Twitter at @theguyshow_, on Instagram at @theguy_Jack_Dalton, on Facebook at Jack Dalton. If you're a promoter, any of those places are good to message me. bookjackdalton@gmail.com. I will be this Saturday in West Haven for Coliseum Pro Wrestling versus Sunset Steve Garcia for the Alley Fights Championship, and I'm going to beat him. And then BST April 8th. Just pay attention to my socials, and you'll see the guy everywhere very soon. 2023 is all about me. Welcome to the Guy Show.
Yeah, we're going to be playing that ad one more time. Valentine's Day is coming up. Get your original artwork. Jack Purcell, tell everyone where they can get original artwork for their significant other, their loved one, for Valentine's Day.
You guys are running out of time. Better move it,
I know.
guys. We're coming up on the 14th. So Jack Purcell, Inc., I-N-K, on Instagram and Facebook is the best place to reach me. Patreon.com. If you look for Jack Purcell, I'm there. You can see all the behind-the-scenes kind of stuff that I don't post anywhere else. But Jack Purcell, Inc., hit me up. I don't make people wait. I respond right away. But if you need some artwork, definitely I'm your hookup for that. We have a special guest on Valentine's Day as well that I want to make sure I mention real quick. Appropriately enough, we have Love Doug on next week, and then we're taking a 2-week break. And we're going to be back with a bunch of other cool guests as well. They won't be the guy, but hopefully you'll enjoy them. But please visit us at theangrygeekshow.com, where you can see the podcast, not only this great episode, but a ton of other cool stuff. And then this guy's mug can be found.
You can find me every Monday night, and I kid you, I love spending or sharing the spotlight with my sister from another mister, the one and only, that woman, Wonder Woman Jamie Dolan, and our sidekick, the wonderful Emily Partington, that the Quinderella, every Monday night right here. You have been watching The Angry Geek Show on Pod TV. Visit our website today. And for guest bookings, email us at theangrygeekshow@gmail.com today.